I woke up at 6:03 a.m. to my phone lighting up like a slot machine hitting jackpot. 33 notifications. Every single one screaming transaction declined. 29 missed calls. A text from my sister Megan, all caps, "What did you do?" My bedroom smelled like stale coffee. The AC hummed too loud. Cold sweat pooled at the back of my neck. I didn't do anything, but someone sure did. The night before, I'd canceled everything. Delta return flights, Santorini hotel reservations, a yacht rental in Mykonos. All of it booked with my card. All of it charged to my email. $14,000. Gone. 3 days earlier, my mom had texted me. "Can I borrow your card info for a couple textbooks for Megan? I'll pay you back." I typed the numbers without thinking. I just landed 2 retainer clients. First time in years I wasn't holding my breath waiting for rent to clear. Then the charges started dropping. $312 at a travel agency, $480 at some boutique booking site, $2,100 on Delta. I opened Instagram. Megan holding a mimosa at the airport, caption, "Kicking off the best week ever with the fam, #Greece." Fam didn't include me, but my credit card? Yeah, that made the trip. Here's my question for you. Have you ever been robbed by the people who taught you to share? My name's Mary. I'm 32, freelance strategy consultant. For most of my 20s, I was the family safety net. Mom needed groceries? I Venmo'd. Dad's car payment late? I covered it. Megan's spring break trip? Well, you get the idea. I never made a big deal about it. That's what family does, right? You help. You don't keep score. My mom was the asker, always sweet about it, always small. $20 here, 50 there. She'd text with a little heart emoji, "Just till Friday, honey," and she'd pay me back, usually. Dad never asked directly. He just mentioned something in passing. "Tough month," he'd say, and I'd know what that meant. Megan, she didn't ask at all. Mom asked for her. I loved them, I really did, but looking back, I should have seen the pattern. Every time I hit a milestone, made a little more money, climbed out of the paycheck-to-paycheck pit, they'd need something. Not malicious, just perfectly timed. This time felt different, though. I just signed 2 retainer clients, real ones, the kind that pay on the first of the month without you chasing invoices. For the first time in 6 years of freelancing, I wasn't refreshing my bank app every morning, doing mental math on whether I could buy the good coffee or had to stick with the store brand. I had $4,000 in savings. 4,000. I know that's not rich, but to me, it was breathing room. When Mom texted about textbooks, I didn't even hesitate. Megan was finishing her bachelor's degree. I remembered being broke in college. I wanted to help. So I sent the card number, all 16 digits, expiration date, CVV, everything. The textbooks excuse should have been the red flag. Megan was studying marketing, not medicine. What textbooks cost $2,100? But I didn't ask. I didn't want to seem like I didn't trust my own mother. That was my first mistake. The charges started hitting 2 days after I sent the card info. First one was small, $312. Mediterranean Travel Solutions. I figured maybe it was a payment plan thing for textbooks. Some schools do that now, right? Then $480 at Luxury Booking Concierge. My stomach tightened. That didn't sound like a bookstore. Then the big one dropped, $2,100, Delta Airlines. I stared at my phone. The kitchen was too quiet. I could hear the fridge humming, the neighbor's dog barking 2 floors down. My hands went cold. I opened Instagram. I don't know why. Maybe I was looking for an explanation that made sense. Maybe I just needed to see Megan complaining about finals or something normal. Instead, I saw her. Airport lounge, hair perfect, holding a mimosa in a plastic flute. Big smile. Caption, "Kicking off the best week ever with the fam. #Greece, #family first, #blessed. The fam. I scrolled through the comments. Mom had liked it. Dad commented a little airplane emoji. Aunt Karen wrote, "Have fun, sweetie." I wasn't in any of the photos. I wasn't tagged. I wasn't mentioned. But my credit card? Yeah, that was very much included. I called my mom, straight to voicemail. I called again, voicemail. I texted, "Did you use my card for a trip to Greece?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, it's a private family trip. We just needed a little help with booking. Don't make it a big deal, Mary. Don't make it a big deal. I sat on my couch. The apartment was dark except for the glow of my phone. My hands were shaking, not from anger yet, from something colder, disbelief maybe, or the feeling you get when you realize you've been seeing something wrong your whole life and it just snapped into focus. I opened my banking app, checked every charge. Santorini hotel, 6 nights. Mykonos yacht rental, full day. Return flights for 3 people. Travel insurance, airport lounge passes. $14,200. They'd planned this, budgeted it, booked it, all under my name. And then they got on a plane and toasted to family. I didn't cry. I didn't call again. I logged into every account, Delta, the hotel, the yacht company, and I started canceling. One by one. Click, confirm, refund pending. It was the coldest thing I've ever done, and I didn't feel bad about it, not even a little. Before I tell you what happened next, let me ask you something. Have you ever had family borrow from you like this? Where the word was borrow, but the plan was always take? Where you were generous and they saw a credit limit? If you've been there, comment, "I've been there" below, because I need you to know you're not crazy, you're not selfish, and you're not alone. Hit subscribe, because this story is about to get a whole lot messier. And trust me, the morning they landed in Greece with no hotel, no yacht, and no return flights, that was just the beginning. Let me tell you what $14,200 meant to me. That wasn't vacation money. That wasn't fun money. That was 4 months of my income. 4 months of pitching clients, writing proposals at midnight, answering emails on Sundays. 4 months of saying no to dinner with friends because I had a deadline. 4 months of living like I was still broke, even though I was finally making it work. I didn't have a safety net. I was the safety net, and they just cut the rope. But it wasn't really about the money, not entirely. It was the caption, kicking off the best week ever with the fam. I wasn't fam, I was funding. They didn't see me as a sister, a daughter. They saw me as a line of credit with a pulse. And when I asked about it, don't make it a big deal, Mary. That credit card wasn't just plastic, it was proof. Proof that I'd clawed my way out of living on ramen and panic. Proof that I could actually do this freelance thing. Proof that I wasn't going to spend my 30s refreshing my bank account, praying the rent would clear. And they torched it for mimosas at 30,000 feet. For a yacht they'd take selfies on and never think about again. For a hotel room they'd trash and leave without tipping housekeeping. They didn't steal my money. They stole the first stable breath I'd taken in 6 years. And that morning, sitting in my dark apartment with my phone glowing in my hand, I decided something. They were going to feel it. Every single dollar. They landed in Athens 6 hours later. I didn't sleep. I sat at my desk with a cold cup of coffee and watched my email. Confirmation after confirmation. Your refund has been processed. Reservation canceled. Booking voided. At 6:03 a.m., my phone exploded again. "Megan, they said you canceled everything. Is this a joke?" "Mom, call me now. We're stranded at the airport." "Dad, you're going to fix this today." I didn't respond. I turned my phone face down and went back to work. Opened my laptop, answered client emails, made myself toast. The morning sun came through the window, warm on my hands. They sent pictures. A tiny hotel room with 2 twin beds shoved together. We had to rebook last minute. We'll talk when we get home. 3 days later, they showed up at my apartment. I looked through the peephole. Dad pacing, Mom gripping her phone like a weapon. Megan slumped on the hallway floor next to a suitcase, head in her hands. I didn't open the door. The next day, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Mary, it's Uncle Steve." My dad's older brother, the one who ran a small logistics company and never asked anyone for anything. "Your dad sent me an email," he said. His voice was careful, measured. Subject line, "Mary's behavior." He says you stole from the family, that you sabotaged their trip out of jealousy, that you're, and I quote, "mentally unstable." My stomach dropped. "Steve, I'm not calling to accuse you," he interrupted. "I'm calling because I want to hear your side." So I told him. The text about textbooks, the charges, the Instagram post, the $14,000. Mom's "don't make it a big deal" text. Silence on the other end. Then, "Mary, this isn't the first time." "What?" "Last year, they tried to get me to co-sign a business loan, said it was for expanding opportunities, sent me a whole pitch deck. Turns out it was for a Florida timeshare. When I said no, your dad didn't speak to me for 2 months." I sat down hard on my couch. "They have a pattern," Steve said quietly, "and you just became the latest target." 2 days later, things got worse. A client forwarded me an email, anonymous sender, subject, "Concerns about Mary Thompson." The email claimed I had ongoing legal issues, that I was emotionally unstable, that there were family fraud allegations that might affect my ability to deliver work. My chest felt tight. My hands went numb. I called another client. Same email, different subject line, same poison. I hired a digital forensics guy that night, paid him $300. 3 hours later, he sent me a report. Every single email traced back to the same IP address. My parents' home. The knocking started again that night, loud, insistent, 3 sharp raps, then my dad's voice through the door. "Mary, open up. We need to talk about this like adults." I sat on my couch in the dark, my laptop open, the blue light flickering on my face. I could hear my mom's voice too, softer. "Honey, please, we can fix this. We're family." Part of me wanted to open it, wanted to believe that if I just explained it one more time, they'd finally get it, that they'd apologize, that we could go back to something normal. But the bigger part knew the truth. Opening that door meant going back to being the ATM, back to "just this once" and "we'll pay you back" and "don't make it a big deal." I stayed on the couch until the knocking stopped. The emails kept coming, though. A LinkedIn message from a potential client. "Hey, just wanted to check in. Someone reached out with concerns about legal issues on your end. Anything that would affect project delivery?" My jaw clenched. I took a screenshot, added it to the folder. Another email, another client. "Got a strange message about you. Wanted to give you a heads up." I called Steve. "They're trying to destroy my business," I said. My voice cracked. I hated how small I sounded. "I know," he said. "I got one too. They claimed you embezzled from them." Embezzled? "Steve, I know it's not true, Mary. I know exactly who they are. Here's what you're going to do. Document everything. Every email, every screenshot, every message. Don't respond to them. Don't engage. Let them keep digging." Why? Because people like this don't know when to stop, and the more they do, the more rope they give you. I thought about that. Rope. What if they ruin me first? "They won't," Steve said. His voice was steady, certain. "Because you have something they don't." What's that? The truth. I spent the next 2 days building a file. Timestamps, screenshots, bank statements, the original text from my mom about textbooks, the Instagram post, the cancellation confirmations, the anonymous emails with their IP address highlighted in yellow. I didn't eat much, didn't sleep much, just worked and waited. Because Steve was right. People like this don't stop. They escalate. And I needed them to show everyone exactly who they were. I didn't wait for them to stop. I built my case. Every morning, same routine. Coffee, laptop, folder labeled evidence. I screenshot every anonymous email, every timestamp, every IP trace report from the forensics guy. I pulled my bank statements going back 3 years, highlighted every Venmo, every just till Friday, every charge I'd covered. The pattern was ugly when you laid it all out. I scheduled a call with an online harassment lawyer. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she said, "You have a strong case for defamation and fraud, but litigation is expensive and slow. Document everything, but don't file yet. Let's see if they dig themselves deeper first." So I kept documenting. Then my grandma called. She's 86, doesn't call unless it's important. Her voice was shaky. "Mary, honey, I need to tell you something I should have told you years ago." My stomach tightened. "When you were in college, your parents took out a student loan in your name. They needed it for a business thing that fell through. They paid it back fast, but it dinged your credit for years. I told them it was wrong. They said you'd never notice." I closed my eyes. The room tilted. "You knew?" "I didn't know how to tell you without breaking the family apart," she whispered. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm so sorry." I thanked her, hung up, sat in the silence. This wasn't new behavior. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was who they were, who they'd always been. I opened my evidence folder, added a new document, pattern of financial abuse, timeline. That night, I stood in my kitchen. The fridge hummed. The city lights blinked through the window. I stared at my reflection in the dark glass. For years, I'd told myself I was helping, that I was being a good daughter, a good sister, that family meant sacrifice. But sacrifice is supposed to be voluntary. This was extraction. I said it out loud, just to hear it, just to make it real. I will not be their ATM anymore. The words hung in the air, solid, final. I wasn't scared anymore. I was ready. Whatever came next, I'd built the foundation. I had the proof. I had Steve. I had the lawyer on standby. And I had something they didn't, the willingness to walk away. Friday afternoon, random number. I almost let it go to voicemail. "Hello? Mary? It's Logan, Megan's ex." I hadn't heard his voice in 2 years, not since the breakup. "Logan, Check your email, right now. I just sent you something." "What are you—" "Just check it. Trust me." The line went dead. I opened my inbox. New message. Subject, "You need to see this." Attachment, a zip file. His message was short. She never changed the iCloud password. I still had access to the family group chat. "I'm sorry, Mary. I should have told you years ago what they're really like." My hands shook as I extracted the files. Screenshots, dozens of them. A group chat. Mom, Dad, Megan. Titled, "Greece Trip Planning." I started reading. "Okay, so if we put everything on Mary's card, we can book it all at once and avoid the fraud flags on ours. She's got good credit, shouldn't be a problem. What if she notices? She won't. She's bad with money, always has been. And even if she does, we guilt her. Tell her it's for my birthday or Megan's graduation, something she can't say no to. It's her turn to give back anyway. She's just sitting on freelance money doing nothing. Book everything. She won't check until it's too late." The budget spreadsheet was attached. $20,000. Itemized. My name at the top, my card number partially visible in a screenshot. They'd planned this for weeks. Every single dollar, every single lie, all of it calculated. I couldn't breathe. The room felt too small, too hot. I forwarded everything to my lawyer, then to Uncle Steve. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. Mary. Steve's voice was cold. I'd never heard him sound like that. I just read it. Steve, I'm done. I'm cutting them out. All of them. Your dad loses every legal and financial tie to the company. Your mom's part-time work ends today. They don't get to do this to you and still benefit from me. Steve, you don't have to. Yes, I do. This isn't family. This is theft with a smile. He paused. I could hear him breathing, steadying himself. Mary, I want to offer you something. I need a strategy consultant to rebuild some outdated systems in the business. It's contract work, good pay, flexible hours. I was going to post it externally, but I'd rather it be you, if you want it. My throat tightened. You're serious? Completely. You've got the skills, you've got the work ethic, and you've got something else. What's that? Integrity. I accepted on the spot. That night, I sat with my laptop open, the screenshots glowing on the screen. Evidence of every lie, every calculation, every moment they saw me as a resource instead of a person. I didn't cry, I didn't rage. I just saved it all to the cloud. Because this wasn't over yet, not by a long shot. The fallout was fast. Steve didn't waste time. By Monday morning, my dad was officially removed from all company paperwork. No ownership, no advisory role, no access to accounts. My mom got a 2-line email. Your services are no longer needed. Final paycheck will be mailed. They lost their income cushion in 48 hours. The family group chat I wasn't part of apparently exploded. Aunt Karen called me. Mary, what happened? Your mom is saying Steve went crazy. I sent her the screenshots, all of them. The grease planning chat, the budget with my name on it, the anonymous emails they'd sent to my clients. She didn't call back. Uncle Jim did, though. I always knew your parents were difficult. I'm sorry, kid. You did the right thing. Cousin Rachel sent a text, Team Mary, always. But my dad's sister, Aunt Linda, she left me a voicemail, her voice sharp, angry. Family doesn't do this to family, Mary. You're tearing everyone apart over money. Grow up. I deleted it without responding. The relatives split down the middle. Some quietly sent supportive messages, others ghosted me completely. A few doubled down, defending my parents like I'd somehow made this up, like screenshots could be faked, like IP addresses lied. I won. I knew I won, but the hollowness was louder than the relief. I'd severed something permanent. There was no going back from this. No holiday dinners where we pretended everything was fine, no birthdays, no graduations, no weddings, just silence. And then the unexpected part hit. My mom called from a number I didn't recognize. I answered without thinking. Mary, her voice was tight, strained. We need to talk. No, we don't. We're 3 months behind on the mortgage. The bank is threatening foreclosure. If we lose the house? I hung up. She called again. I blocked the number. That night, I sat on my couch in the dark. The apartment felt too quiet. I thought about the house I grew up in, my childhood bedroom, the kitchen table where we used to eat dinner before everything got complicated. They were going to lose it, and I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not guilt, just this flat, heavy nothing. I'd won, but winning felt like standing in the ruins of something that was already broken. I just hadn't noticed until now. 5 days later, someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. My mom, alone, holding a plastic grocery bag with a manila folder on top. I almost didn't open it, but I did. I don't know why. Curiosity, maybe? Or some small, stupid part of me that still wanted to believe she'd come to apologize. She stepped inside. Didn't hug me, didn't cry, just perched on the edge of my couch like she was sitting in a doctor's waiting room. She opened the folder. Old tax documents, loan records, receipts, bank statements. I brought everything, she said. Her voice was businesslike, rehearsed. To show you it wasn't as bad as it looks. We were going to pay you back. We always do. I stared at her. Mom, you sent anonymous emails to my clients calling me unstable. That was your father's idea. I told him it was too much. You didn't stop him? She looked down. Mary, I need you to talk to Steve, professionally, with boundaries. We can work something out. If we lose the house... Why Greece? I interrupted. She blanked. What? Why Greece? Why not just ask me for money if you were desperate? Her jaw tightened. She didn't want to answer, but I waited. Finally, there was a potential investor, European. He wanted to meet in Santorini to discuss a business opportunity. We thought if we could get in front of him, network properly, it would solve everything. And he ghosted us the second day. I almost laughed. Almost. So you gambled $14,000 of my money on a maybe? It wasn't a gamble. It was an investment. In what? She didn't answer, just started putting the papers back in the folder. Mary, please, talk to Steve. You have influence now. I stood up. You need to leave. She left the folder on my coffee table, walked to the door, turned back. This isn't who we are. Yeah, I said quietly. It is. Over the next week, I started hearing things. My parents were telling relatives a different story, that I'd frozen them out during a crisis, that I'd manipulated Steve against them, that they were the victims of my financial revenge. Aunt Linda posted something vague on Facebook about family betrayal and those who forget where they came from. I sat with it for a day. Then I drafted a group message. Every aunt, uncle, cousin, everyone. Setting the record straight. I attached the screenshots, the group chat, the budget spreadsheet, the timeline, the anonymous emails with IP addresses. My message was short. This is what actually happened. I'm not asking you to pick sides. I'm asking you to stop speaking for me. They're not coming back into my life. Please don't try to fix this. I hit send. No one replied, but the vague Facebook posts stopped. That conversation with my mom kept replaying in my head. Not the part about Steve, not the folder full of justifications. The part where I asked, why not just tell me before you swiped my card? And she looked at me like I'd asked something stupid. We thought you wouldn't notice, she'd said, and when you did, we'd figure out how to make it up to you. That sentence sat in my chest like a stone. They didn't see me as a person who deserved honesty. They saw me as a problem to manage, a balance to reconcile later, a line item. I picked up my phone, typed a message to both of them. I'm done carrying this family. I didn't explain, didn't justify, didn't leave room for negotiation. I just sent it. Then I blocked both numbers. No dramatic final phone call, no shouting match, no closure speech, just silence. The kind of silence that says everything. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought I'd feel lighter, or sadder, or something definitive. Instead, I just felt quiet. Then, 3 nights later, my phone buzzed. A voice note from Megan. I almost deleted it, but I pressed play. Her voice was different, smaller, cracked at the edges. Mary, I don't know if you'll even listen to this, but I need to say it. A long pause. I could hear her breathing. I saw the emails, the ones Mom sent to your clients. They were on her phone. She left it open on the counter, and I read them, all of them. Another pause. I thought you were being dramatic. I thought you canceled the trip to punish us for not inviting you. I didn't know they'd planned it. I didn't know about the budget spreadsheet. I didn't know they were trying to ruin you. Her voice broke. I was wrong. I was so wrong. And I don't know how to fix this. I don't know if I can. But if you want, if you're willing, we could start over. Just us. Without them." The message ended. I sat in the dark. The city hummed outside my window. A siren wailed in the distance. My coffee had gone cold on the table. I played it again. And again. Megan wasn't blameless. She'd laughed at the mimosa photo. She'd gone along with it. She'd said I was bad with money in that group chat. But she was 24, and she'd been raised by people who taught her that using people was just what family did. I didn't respond that night, but I didn't delete the message either. I saved it, because maybe, just maybe, one person in that family could still learn what accountability looked like. Maybe. Looking back now, I realize something I wish I'd understood years ago. Family isn't biology, it's behavior. It's not about who shares your DNA or your last name or your childhood dinner table. It's about who shows up when it matters, who tells you the truth even when it's uncomfortable, who sees you as a person, not a problem to solve or a resource to drain. My parents taught me that love meant sacrifice, that being a good daughter meant saying yes, that boundaries were selfish. They were wrong. Standing up cost me everything I thought family was supposed to be. I lost my mother, my father, the version of normal where we all pretended things were fine over holiday dinners. I lost cousins who chose sides, aunts who didn't want to hear the truth, the fantasy that one day they'd finally see me. But here's what I gained. I gained self-respect, the kind you can only get when you stop letting people treat you like a credit card with a heartbeat. I gained Steve. Not just a job, but a mentor who saw my worth without needing me to prove it by bleeding myself dry first. I gained the possibility of Megan, not the sister who toasted mimosas on my dime, but the one who left a voice note with a cracked voice and said, "I was wrong." I gained boundaries, real ones, the kind that don't apologize for existing. Because here's the thing I had to learn the hard way. Kindness isn't a communal fund. It's not something you're supposed to pour out endlessly while people take without asking. Kindness is disciplined care. It's knowing when to give and when to stop, when to help and when to walk away. Generosity without boundaries isn't virtue. It's self-destruction with good branding. And for years, I wore my self-destruction like a badge of honor. I thought it made me good. Loyal, strong. It didn't. It just made me empty. The hardest thing I ever did wasn't canceling those reservations. It wasn't blocking their numbers. It wasn't even sending those screenshots to the family group chat. The hardest thing I ever did was believing I deserved better, and then acting like it. So, where are we now? It's been 8 months since that morning I woke up to 33 notifications. I'm still working with Steve. The consulting contract turned into something bigger. He's teaching me the business from the inside: operations, client relations, long-term strategy. Last month, he told me he's thinking about succession planning, that when he retires in a few years, he wants me involved in overseeing the transition. He put it in writing, a trust, legal protections that lock my parents out permanently, not out of spite, out of necessity. Some doors, he said, need deadbolts. My parents? No contact. I heard through cousin Rachel that they're still rewriting the story, still telling anyone who'll listen that I turned the family against them over a misunderstanding, that I'm vindictive, cold, that they broke their hearts. I don't correct it anymore. The people who matter already know the truth. The ones who don't want to know, I can't fix that. And Megan? 5 days after the voice note, I texted back. One word: coffee. We met at a corner cafe. No hugs, no tears, just 2 cups of coffee and a lot of careful honesty. She'd moved out of my parents' place, got a roommate, started paying her own bills. She's taking online classes again, finishing her degree on her own dime this time. We talk now, not every day, not like we used to, but we're building something new, something that doesn't require me to fund it or her to perform for it. It's slow, it's fragile, but it's real. She asked me once, over coffee, Do you think you'll ever forgive them? I thought about it, really thought about it. I don't know, I said, but I've forgiven myself for believing them, for taking so long to stop, for thinking I had to. She nodded, didn't push. The scars are still there. I still flinch when someone asks to borrow money. I still double-check my bank account more than I need to. I still have nights where I replay that group chat in my head and feel the hollow ache of being seen as a budget line instead of a daughter. But the scars don't own me anymore. They're proof I survived, not proof I'm broken. Here's what I want you to know. Boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. You decide who gets a key, and you get to change the locks when someone proves they can't be trusted with access to your life. That doesn't make you cruel, it makes you responsible for yourself, for your peace, for the life you're trying to build. If family used love as a credit card, you're not selfish for canceling it. You're not cold for blocking the number. You're not broken for walking away. You're just done funding a relationship that only worked when you were paying for it. Real family doesn't ask you to bankroll their dreams while canceling yours. Real family doesn't see your success as their emergency fund. Real family doesn't guilt you for having boundaries and then punish you when you enforce them. Real family shows up, tells the truth, takes accountability. And if the people who raised you can't do that, you're allowed to build a new family, one that doesn't cost you your sanity, your savings, or your self-respect. It won't be easy. Some people will call you cold, ungrateful, selfish. Let them. You're not writing your story for their approval. If you've been there, if family ever drained you dry and called it love, drop your city in the comments below. Let people know they're not alone, that it's not just them, that boundaries aren't betrayal. And if this story hit home, subscribe, because next week I'm telling you about my cousin who signed my name on a loan without asking, and how an HOA security camera caught everything. Tonight, I'm walking home from the cafe. The night air is cool. There's a bakery on the corner, and the smell of fresh bread drifts down the block. My shoes tap on the brick sidewalk. My lungs open. It's the first full breath I've taken in years, and it's mine.